How we doing? Adapt and improvise. We got this. What's going on, guys? Welcome back. For glory. Hell yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened with that. We haven't experienced something like that in a long time. So the last time we did was February, end of February. I accidentally broadcasted my IP one time, and pretty quickly you get taken down. But we haven't experienced that before. Since then, right? I've kind of been cruising along. I can't tell you that we've had a lot of storms here lately. Especially just today. Like just today at my kids' school, we had a tornado warning, and they kept them from coming home. So maybe that's it. I don't know. Coriolis effect kind of stuff. Solar flares. Who knows? Let's get into the footage. We talked a lot in the last stream, for those that were with us, about the Kharkiv and Kherson counteroffensives. One from an efficacy perspective, at least taking ground back perspective, wildly more successful than the other. But what it's forcing Russia to do is essentially choose. If you're in Russia's shoes, what do you do? Do you choose to align resources against the Oskil River to keep Ukraine from being able to take back the rest of Kharkiv Oblast, or do you begin to align and keep combat power in the south to keep Ukraine from pressing further and further towards Crimea? Difficult position that you're in. Welcome back in, guys. Welcome back in. No, not DDoS. It was then. It was then. It was actually reported to us. My audio is out for you. That might be on your side, because I can see myself talking in the faders over there. Maybe kill the stream and bring it back up. Let's jump into the footage that we've got. Again, we're going to be using the trending footage. And the very first one we're going to watch is what happens when you try and use an SPG-9 inside. Audio good? Good. Good, good, good. So don't ever use an SPG-9 inside. You're gonna have a bad time. So I actually did a whole video on the SPG-9. That's one of our Funker News Network edited episodes. And if you guys are just now rejoining us, the last stream we had, for some reason, I had a whole bunch of technical issues. Not sure if it's on my end, on the solar flares, or if there's, something more sinister going on. We have had that happen to us before. I am, not making that up. It's something that we had to deal with for about a week. Each of our streams at the time, we were streaming every night, was taken down. Let's jump into the next one. We're using our trending footage, like I mentioned tonight, largely because I've been gone for a week and there's a whole lot of footage for us to try to get through. So the best way that we can get through at the top level and make sure we hit those key pieces of footage that we've seen over the last 7 days is to use the trending section of the website. So what we just watched were Ukrainians firing an SPG-9 inside of a building. And the next one we're going to see is not safe for work. I did mention at the beginning of the other stream, the majority of tonight's stream is going to be very not safe for work. So I do strongly advise discretion when watching. If you've got this on a TV, I know there are folks out there that like to put it on, a television, which is humbling as all get out, by the way. You've been advised. So what we're going to see here is a Russian BMP crew just disappeared. That's the best way to put it. It's coming up for you guys here right now. And please do like the new stream, guys. I appreciate that very much. Put myself in the low right. So this is a Russian BMP crew. Hatch is open. some of the aftermath of that here. You're probably looking at a whole lot of secondary fragmentation from that. Let me move myself out of the way. And while that doesn't look to be as menacing as it actually is, remember that a lot of these could be very small puncture wounds that have now penetrated, relatively deep into the body. This person is moving around, still appears to be ambulatory. Let's bring it back up. Okay, so that is our, I don't know, what's 4 times 3? What number trending video was that? Number 15? Not 4 times 3, 4 times 4. That was our number 15 most trending video over the last 7 days. The next one we've got is a Ukrainian tank blowing a turret off of a Russian BMP. It's coming up for you guys here now. We are back. Welcome back, guys. How we doing? Next entry into the Turret Olympics coming up for you. Damn, bro, your math is bad. Yes. You see, here's the thing. My math teacher told me that I would never have a calculator with me everywhere I went. That was when we were using the T88s. And you would type into it 55318008, turn it upside down, and show your friends. Turns out I do have a calculator everywhere I go. So I could have just grabbed my phone and done that. But I didn't. I tried to do it in my head. But it was a $20 problem on a $5 budget. Let's jump into the next one. The next one's going to be an Su-25. A Russian Su-25 shot down over Volovayar, excuse me. Coming up for you guys now. We got a lot of trending footage to get through today. So a little bit less analysis per video and a little bit more intent focus on some of these. Now, there's going to be a few that we stop and talk a little bit about. Coming up. So towards the very end of this, that Su-25 does get taken down. Our next one, once we get into this top 5, guys, once again, some of it's not going to be easy to watch. This one is not going to be easy to watch. So Josh actually did a really great job helping you folks that might not understand a challenge and password understand what it is. So what I want to do is I want to link you guys to this one directly. Josh, one of our Marine writers, and I spent some time with the Guns Out TV guys over the last week. John is a Marine veteran, and I did ask him. I said, I never know when talking to a Marine or introducing a Marine to somebody whether to actually say former Marine or is a Marine. And it turns out you do just out of general respect say Marine. So Josh is Marine infantry machine gunner specifically. And something that I love to read from Josh a lot is, when he describes small unit tactics, everything from ambushes to simple things like challenge and password. A challenge and password would have been very helpful in the video we're about to watch. What you're going to see is a Ukrainian challenging, just not in a challenge and password type scenario, a pair of Russians as they come into his view, but his hesitation ultimately leads to his demise. It's coming up for you guys right now. The Marine version of that. Yes. Whatever the 0311, 03 something or other.
А где ваши повязки? Чё?
Now, it's at that point that had he levied a challenge, which would have then needed a password in response, and he did not receive that, he would have been justified in engaging. This is going to go on for another couple moments.
Повязки где желтые? Желтые повязки. Что? Кто такие? А зачем? Чья замена? Какая?
And that's over. So that was a Ukrainian that we just watched. And Ukrainian perspective, there's a little bit of that can be chalked up to fog of war. If I understand correctly, some of the back and forth that had happened there was these Russians were wearing yellow tape around their uniforms, potentially, which is an indication that they are would have been an indication that they were Ukrainian. We're going to end up looking at a piece of footage on the flip side of that. Russians being impacted by fog of war and it ultimately leading to their demise. Coming up for you guys here in just a second. I got to go to the home page to grab this one. Oh, let me check in on some of the support from you guys before we jump into that. Phil, thank you for the 1212 for the Bourbon Fund, Ronnie. Thanks very much, man. Joe, thank you for the $4.99. Is the Sawmill open to the public? I live near there. Would love to shoot there. Can't find any info on it, though. They do have public range days. I find that the best way to experience the Sawmill, though, is go there with the intent on staying there for a couple days, sign up for a couple of their classes, not necessarily just going there to shoot. They do have public range days, but sign up for the classes there and actually stay in the lodging. You'll get the chance to hang out with the cadre, Matt and Steve, awesome people. That's how I would experience the Sawmill. Just my opinion on that. I'm trying to find the one that I had set up to show you guys right after that one. Like I told you, I intended on just using the trending footage, but there's one video that isn't in the trending footage just yet. Like it's still so new to the site. We'll get to it. We'll get to it when we get to it. We'll have to search for it together. The next one I'm gonna watch for you, or I'm gonna show to you guys to watch, is a tank trying to send it through a Ukrainian ambush, and it absolutely goes the wrong way. You could theoretically say that the Russians were barking up the wrong tree trying to do this. Here you go. All right, let's wheel back and talk about what we just saw. So we're gonna slow it down a little bit just for a moment. I don't want to focus too intently on this. What you got is a Russian tank essentially speeding through a Ukrainian ambush. Now, we're going to see a Ukrainian on the side of the road essentially initiate the ambush. I'm not sure why this Russian tank with dismounts all over the top of it is trying to charge through there. Let me move myself to the left here. So here's our first Ukrainian. He opens it up. And then you've got Ukrainians all along this ditch that are also opening up on this tank, as well as on the opposite side. Bit of a crossfire there. Now the tank decides that it's going to put the pedal to the metal and the tank to the wood. Bringing it back. Now, I did want to show you guys some of the comments. Can you see the comments there? No. I'll put myself in the low right. Not ambush, more of am-tree. I wonder what branch of the military they are. It would seem appropriate. He said wood. Barking up the wrong tree. Oh, there it is. So these are the two specifically that I want to look at. That's what they get for branching out in Ukraine. Hi. Welcome back. I don't even know what to say at this point. It's not on my end, guys. Welcome back. How we doing? I'm trying to make it through this footage as fast as I can, guys. But if we do go down again, head over to the trending page of the website. Head over to the trending page. I'm giving you the link for it now. And you can check these out on your own. All right? I mean, that's ultimately what we're doing here, is just going over some of the footage that we posted to the website. I love you, Jared. It's funny, to be honest. Smash the like button. Do please hit the like button for us. I appreciate that. I want to see if I can find really quick the... There's some pretty wild fog of war type footage that we just put up. But for some reason I can't find it now. Oh, I did want to show you guys this one. This is what the aftermath of a HIMARS strike looks like. You know, a lot of times we get to see the HIMARS firing, but we don't end up seeing what that aftermath looks like. This is in Kharkiv. It's coming up for you now. And you can hear him talking about HIMARS. Now, of course, there's very likely some, you know, fire after this that you know, was a catalyst for a lot of this damage, but one way or another, this is what is resultant of a HIMARS strike. Alright, coming up. Still trying to find that, maybe we pulled that down. I don't know why we would. One way or another, I've got another one coming up for you guys here. This is found footage. So when we say found footage, oftentimes what we mean is, you know, either on someone that is deceased or a camera that was left behind. It was recorded by somebody and then picked up by somebody else. So we're going to see some found footage here of Russians being ambushed by Ukrainians. And my understanding of the back and forth that we see that they're going through is largely complaints about their equipment, about how one of the military contractors that is there has equipment. There are quite a few comments over on this video specifically on Funker 530 that are talking about an actual breakdown of what's being said. But once we get past that, you'll understand why we're showing it to you.
Барс просто из ЧВК, блин, Барс, да. Собирайтесь налегке, броники. Нет у нас броников. В смысле нету, блядь? Блядь. Сказал же, на позиции, ты тоже без броника, без каски, да? Заебись, блядь. Пиздец, блядь, народу, блядь. Сложили, блядь. С наших и, блядь, и ЛНР. Все вперемешку, блядь.
Пацаны, заберите. Заберите, пожалуйста.
Помогай эвакуировать. Блядь. Куда? Куда попало? У меня 300-й наши, подтяните, 300-й. Прошел. 300-й у меня, блядь, 300-й сейчас будет, блядь. Ахмадовцы, сюда подтягивайтесь, блядь. Сюда, глядь, сюда.
Куда подтягиваться, живете?
Блядь. К раннему окопу нахуй. Бетонная, блядь, этот. Вот откуда сейчас стреляют сюда.
All right. So if this is found footage, I'm sure you can, understand how that ends up turning out. Let's go back to our trending footage section, and what we're gonna see here is actually a pretty some wild ass footage. That's we're gonna see a Browning M2. We're gonna see the Deuce open wide up on a Russian position as they're advancing very rapidly, as Ukrainians are advancing very rapidly. And as it turns out, if you slip when trying to hit the reload button, sometimes you'll end up pulling out your rocket launcher. For those of us that know what it means, somebody knows how to set the headspace and timing on a Deuce, because every Deuce I've ever tried to set up jams, it stops firing, after 3 rounds. I'm just, back to the footage. And if you can't hear, this is an American in the turret seat. See ya.
Ammo! 50 ammo! Bullets!
I don't speak Ukrainian, but I can only assume that in Ukrainian, 50 ammo means another rocket. We can see coming up right here that's what he's given. So I'm assuming 50 ammo is Ukrainian for rocket, please.
I need 50 cal ammo! We're taking shots! People number 1 тебе собраться чехлов ебали. I need 50 cal ammo! Fire!
You see, he does finally get his ammo. But that one was that was an American in the turret. And something that's pertinent is that Kharkiv axis is very much so heavily manned by foreign Legion fighters. So that is something pertinent. Correlation is not necessarily causation, but it's still something to keep in mind when you look at those 3,000 kilometers that have been taken over recently. Heavy presence of foreign fighters there. All right, let's bring up the next one that we've got here, and then we're probably going to close it down while we can on a high note. I'm all turned around and backwards by all the challenges with the network tonight, and we're just going to chalk it up as a win for being able to keep the stream up. But there are 3 more. Here's that footage I wanted to see. There are 3 more videos I wanted to get through. What you're going to see is effectively the fog of war. It's not easy to watch. It is not safe for work, so discretion has been advised. You've been told. Okay? We're going to watch it. We'll bring it back up, and then we'll talk about it.
Я не стреляю. Да вон там 2 пидоров. Вот я вальну. Я его сам вальну. Они вот там. 200, их вальнули. Давай. Вот я их добиваю, блядей. Ну шо, сука? Ох, я их наубивал сегодня. Мне нравится. Любимый, на водичку. Морская пехота и морская баскота. Да, все как на горном договаривались. Братик, сейчас я съемку веду. Слава Украине! Героям похуй! Героям похуй! Слава Одину, слава Тору! Убили немного русни, нас немного убили. Ну, короче, кто...
All right, let's bring it up. Let's talk about that for a second. That wasn't easy to watch. And that's the kind of footage that, Funker 530 is here to post. That is combat footage. It showcases a lot of things. It showcases the brutality of war, showcases the fog of war. Those were Russians that you saw receiving contact from the Ukrainians that the camera was mounted on. It's mounted on this Ukrainian's helmet with the green tape. And it's nose to nose. Right, those Russians in the fog of war had just received that rocket to their position, got up, hoping to come off of, unasked that location, and move somewhere else. Little did they know that there were Ukrainians right outside of their trench. Josh did an excellent write-up on this relative to fog of war, and it really helps put that type of close quarters combat into perspective. So if you haven't had a chance to read the analysis on this one, really strongly recommend that you do. It's a quick read, might take you 35, 40 seconds. The last two I want to watch. The first one's kind of comical, sort of comical. Not really. It's comical to an extent. So we're going to shift off of Ukraine footage. You guys are welcome to head over to the website. There's just a ton more footage for you to look at, to see that we just didn't have the time to go over today. But what we're about to watch is what happens when, you give the Taliban a whole bunch of Blackhawks. I don't know what the red circle is, guys. I don't know. I didn't put that there. A little bit less zig, a little bit more zag on that one. Not a pilot, but I feel like that would have been. So while to an extent that's comical, it's not. Right? Anyway, let's bring it back up. Props for keeping it up there so long. So something that's pertinent for everybody to understand is a lot of the Taliban's pilots are former Afghan army, they're Afghan pilots. I don't know the circumstances of what we just watched. It could be a maintenance issue, but something that comes along with any large military equipment is a whole logistics train behind it. Maintenance, that's why we have entire jobs in the U.S. military that revolve around maintenance and maintaining aircraft, tanks, fighting vehicles. They don't have any of that. That's what it looks like when I get a drone control. That's what it looks like when I try to fly the chopper in Battlefield. It's really bad. Or in Squad. We're going to play Squad tonight, by the way. Or there's one more that I wanted to go over today. Again, guys, this show, this live stream is not designed to be this finely tuned, heavily produced kind of thing. It's really for us to just show you the footage, to talk about the footage. There are similar shows out there that have, a specific intent of focusing on, here's what happened over the last 24 hours for Ukraine. Great. That's great. That's not what this was here for. We started doing some of that stuff. But because of the breadth of conflict in coverage that we work on, we're just not able to focus that intently on just one area. We try and give you some perspective from all across the world. Let's bring it into the United States for a second, and I'm going to show you guys something it's our number one most watched video on the app and on the website over the last 7 days. Once again, not going to be easy to watch. This is every dad's worst nightmare. An ex-boyfriend is chasing your daughter into the house. Your daughter gets to your house, comes through your front door, and hides in her home where she is safe. And he tries to follow with every intent on making his way to your daughter. This is what happens.
Stop it, Allie. Boys, in the house.
Okay, let's talk a couple times. So the homeowner has multiple times asked for this man to get off of his porch. This is a grown man. And somebody's kid, I get that. He has asked multiple times for this guy to get off of his porch. This is the ex-boyfriend of his daughter. And he is going to continue to try and come through that door and eventually succeed to some degree in getting through that door. We're not going to watch this one to completion. That's it. That's where we're going to stop there. The homeowner's forced to shoot here. Now, 8 out of 9, essentially, when it got to the point to where they were trying to decide whether or not to charge the homeowner here, 8 out of 9 said that they would not. And I tend to agree with them. As just a reasonable person, I'm not a cop. I'm just a human being, right? But if somebody's trying to get through my front door to get to my daughter, I have 2 daughters. You try to, and I tell you multiple times, get off my porch. Get off my porch. And you're still trying to hammer down my front door. I have to believe that I probably would have done something similar here. But this is where I wanted to bring up the training that I took up at USCCA. This was always intended to be the last thing that we talked about. These are the types of scenarios that USCCA brought up. And there are certain states in America that he would not have been in the right to do what he just did. And in those situations where it is a life or death scenario, or you believe it's a life or death scenario, that's where a lot of value would come in from an organization like USCCA. From a legal perspective, from a training perspective. There's going to be more to follow about my trip from my trip to USCCA. And I'll have some more video content that I put out about that. But when I first watched this, I was actually at USCCA sitting through their compressed version of Concealed Carry and Home Defense Fundamentals on Thursday. I watched this in the room and essentially showed it to the room. These are the types of scenarios that they try to train you for, so that you understand that it's going to be a very short span of time that you're going to have to make a decision. And you have to know that if you're justified in making that decision, that there's going to be an organization to support you. I have a link. I have like an affiliate link for them. I'm not going to give you that. That wasn't the intent of this. Once we do some more of that video content, I'll give you that affiliate link so that you can go and check out some of their programs that they offer. But I look at this as just a reasonable human being. I like to believe I'm a reasonable human being, and I personally believe that that homeowner was justified in what he just did. Let me check back in on the support that's coming in. Psyops, thanks for the $9.99. How's my buddy Mr. Mustache doing today? Always good, brother. Always good. Thanks very much for the $9.99. And Psyops, thanks for the $9.99 after that. Blackhawk's still doing its job, taking all those talents. No, man. No. Is that Feudamir? Thank you very much for the $10. Making a barking up the wrong tree shirt, please. We do have a new shirt coming out. It's our HIMARS 2024 shirt. I'm waiting to launch that until I get the samples in hand so you guys can see it rather than just seeing it on a picture. Ronnie, will Russia use tactical nukes? Doubt it, personally. Russia has responded to the counteroffensive by essentially, and we forgot to go over this earlier, by essentially targeting critical infrastructure, which is a war crime, specifically targeting, power stations. It did take the majority of Kharkiv Oblast out of power over the last couple days. So, targeting critical infrastructure has immense impacts on local populace's ability to survive, right? So electricity, water, those types of things. You are not supposed to do that. Now, oftentimes you'll hear the argument, all is fair in love and war. Still a war crime. It is. that's going to be it for us tonight. I'm out of here. It was a rocky stream. I got thrown a little bit off balance by some of the technical issues that we ran into earlier, but I appreciate you guys sticking through it with me. This one was a tough stream to watch. We had a lot of, really complex problems that we looked at. And when I say complex problems, this is footage that people need to see, but we're also from a humanity perspective looking at people, losing their lives tonight, much heavier than we used to. And it's for that reason that we want to show you this stuff, because it is ultimately the foundational part of what we do. We want you to see and understand what use of force scenarios look like, both from a defensive perspective, in defense of yourself, your family, and from a wars perspective, from a combat perspective, so that people can understand that better. Now, YouTube might not be the final destination for this show. We are actively looking for a new platform to take the live show to, with a potential restructure of exactly how we do it, with a little bit heavier focus on less variation of footage, a little bit more of a deep dive into each with guests. I had the chance to talk to a couple of those potential guests over the last couple days, and I think you'll be really excited with how that pans out once we start to get further towards the end state of what the show is. Up till now, it's been very specific. Connect with you, point you to where you can find the footage on our app, on our website. All of this is available there long before I touch it. So please head over there and download that. We're not charging you for the app. The Funker 530 app will always be free. Okay. I'm out of here. Good night. We'll see you guys over on the other stream if you're able to make it. I'd love to have you. We can continue to talk about all this and more and stay informed.